Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the Border Star School. We did a little walk around of this structure in one of my last boots on the ground explorations. The history of the Border Star School begins in 1863 when pioneers organized a school district south of Brush Creek known as the Border Star District. The original school was briefly closed during the Civil Wars but reopened in 1865. In 1873, a new community built school was constructed at the site of the present day Border Star Montessori School. This school eventually evolved into the Border Star Montessori School, which serves preschool through sixth grade and follows the principles of Maria Montessori. And is it just me, or was that last sentence completely just redundant? Again, we're dealing with the stupid artificial intelligence. Who is Maria Montessori? Maria Tecla Artemisia Montessori was an Italian physician and educator, best known for her philosophy of education, the Montessori method, and her writing on scientific pedagogy. Pedagogy, most commonly understood as the approach to teaching, is the theory and practice of learning and how this process influences and is influenced by the social, political, and psychological development of learners. At an early age, Montessori enrolled in classes at an all boys technical school. Huh? At an early age, Montessori enrolled in classes at an all boys technical school with hopes of becoming an engineer. She soon had a change of heart and began medical school. So, we're not even going to talk about how Ms. Montessori here enrolled in a all boys technical school? What's going on? And that medical school was the Sapienza University of Rome, becoming one of the first women to attend medical school in Italy. She graduated with honors in 1896. Her educational method is in use globally in many public and private schools. And I'm not going to get completely sidetracked here and read into this Montessori, but I did want to read this next little paragraph here as it was interesting to me. Montessori was born 31st of August in 1870 in Italy. Her father, Alessandro Montessori, age 33, was an official of the Ministry of Finance working in the local state-run tobacco factory. Her mother, Renilde Stepani, 25, was well educated for the times and was the niece of Italian geologist and paleontologist Antonio Stepani. While she did not have any particular mentor, she was very close to her mother, who readily encouraged her. She also had a loving relationship with her father, although he disagreed with her choice to continue her education. So we got a father, 33 years of age, surprise. An official of the Ministry of Finance. Her mother, the niece of an Italian geologist and paleontologist. Anyways, I thought that was interesting, but let's move on. So, it all begins in 1863, here we are. And then the original school was briefly closed during the wars and reopened in 1865. But, well, in 1873, a new community built school was constructed at the site of the present day Border Star School. So, between the original structure and the structure, I guess, that we are seeing today, I don't recall seeing a date on this school. I'll have to go back and look at my footage. Where's the information about what happened to, between 1865 and 1873? The original structure could not have been that old. And then we are being told that, I guess, what we are looking at today, it was built by the community in 1873. Okay, so I had to refresh my memory a little bit. I didn't see a date on this structure, but I did look it up so that I could put something on the video. And the date that I found when I just did my quick initial search was 1928. But anyways, we're going to be getting... Oh shit, hold on. Basically, the timeline's telling us what we've already been fed. Present day, the school now operates as Border Star Montessori School, focusing on child-led learning and independence. And let's see. That's right. This is where I saw the 1928 date. We're going to jump over here to the National Propaganda Radio website. Get a little more HissStory. This website here or radio station or whatever, they like to really focus in on certain things that seem to divide us. But let's see, where did I see that? Oh, yes. So I was reading this earlier. This lady, she enrolled her child in this school 15 years ago. When is this article here? Oh, this is the current date, apparently. Well, March 27th, 2025 at 3 a.m. So what were these tweakers doing? I don't know. But so this lady enrolled her child here 15 years ago, and she returned again to enroll her youngest daughter and was shocked by how little had changed. That's right. The auditorium is still sweltering hot, classrooms house hazardous radiators, and the gym ceiling is falling down. So, if you need to know anything about the Kansas City public school system, there's just a little bit of information right there. This says Border Star resides inside an old building. The elementary moved there in 1928. And I clicked on this. Oh, you're going to love this one. I'll just start from the top here. In 1863, the pioneers living south of Brush Creek and adjacent to Westport organized a school district that became known as the Border Star District, and the first school was built. So here we are. We actually get confirmation that a structure was built in 1863. No thank you to the AI. It was closed for a while near the end of the civil war, but reopened in 1865. In 1873, a new building was built at the site of the present-day Border Star. Sorry if this is repetitive, guys. I might cut it out. I don't know. We already heard all that. There were neither skilled mechanics nor any machinery to put up the little building. It was constructed by the community, and probably boys and girls who were to attend the school assisted in the work. At the end of the room was a platform for the teacher's desk. We're just completely going off the rails here. I mean, what are we talking about? Putting these children to work building this structure over here, and then we jump right into some platform for the teacher's desk. A pot-bellied wood stove in the corner was fired with wood cut by the teacher and other pupils. So maybe, these are the two original structures, and then they're going to tell us that the one we are looking at today, well, let's see, we're going to keep reading. East of this little one-room building, about where the tennis courts are now located, was a ravine or brook or canal, most likely a canal, but anyways, hence Brookside, and that's a new one to me, so learning something new every day. And between that and the schoolhouse was a large spring, which supplied water for the children. And if you've seen the video, I did a quick scan of the area. There are some tennis courts between this school and the little entertainment district to the east. So we had a canal running through the area and a spring that supplied water for the children. The children usually came to school on horseback, and hitching posts were provided in the schoolyard. One side for the girls and one side for the boys. That's right, the boys hitched their horses on one side and the girls hitched their horses on the other. The children ate their lunches in their schoolroom around the pot-bellied stove in the winter, and around the spring upon the grass in the schoolyard during the mild weather. It was open country. Fences were rare. There were few roads. No 63rd Street existed. Warnell Road was a muddy country road. And this is 1873 we're talking about here. And then in 1911, Border Star District was absorbed into the Kansas City District, and the little old school became a part of the school system. For a few years during the One, the school was closed. Closed again during wars times. I mean, we're getting a repeat here. We did it with the Civil Wars, and now the One. It was reopened again in 1919 with an enrollment of 19. A couple of years later, an additional frame building was constructed adjacent to the original building. In the early 1920s, there was 8 rooms and only 4 grades at Border Star. In 1924, the cornerstone was laid for the new modern building, and the northeast wing was completed. About 1928, the present building of 22 classrooms was opened. The original Little Border Star School was incorporated into the caretaker's quarters at the northeast corner of the present building. Northeast corner of the present building. I don't recall seeing such a structure still existing. Architect's drawings specify that the star is to be placed upside down. It can be wondered if that was the original way it was placed. The early glass of the window was blue. My dog is such a turd, she will never hang out with me when I'm doing one of these. She especially doesn't like when she hears my playback and my voice coming through the computer. It freaks her out. But anyways, I tried to think of something clever to say about this, and as far as they keep shutting down, reopening, and then rebuilding over and over again. But yet there's no information on the in-betweens of these dates. And there's only really one way to describe this, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's a complete mind fuck right here. But I'm going to try to find some photos and see if we can find anything else that might be of interest on this. I started to look for photos and found an interesting looking school and clicked on it and found myself back on this National Propaganda Radio website here. Check this out. I should have scrolled down earlier, but there's some of the dangerous radiators that they were referring to in the Border Star School earlier. There's a few completely unrelated to what we're talking about, but we're going to get distracted here because that's what I do. And this is how I find other places to explore as well. So check this out. Well, we can go back up to this Gladstone School, looking a little bit interesting. I don't know if it'll let me click on it. It will not. I can zoom in just a little bit here. Looking like a very familiar construction. But this Lincoln High School down here is crazy. And this is looking like the same construction that we see on these schools all over the place, at least in Kansas City. I'm sure they exist elsewhere. But we've got this checkerboard pattern up top here. I've seen that before. Hale Cook is a great example. But look at the turret on this thing, as well as this entrance here. Wish I could get a better view for you, but I'm going to have to look into this Lincoln High School. See if it's still existing. And then there's another one down here. Look at this. Willard Elementary, built in 1924, closed in 2000. Sorry, I just wanted to see if they gave us any information. Look at the brickwork on this thing. It's incredible. Even on this stack right here. Above these windows, amazing. Like a bell tower or something going on over here. Terracotta roof. And the same limestone foundation we see on every structure. After scrolling down for a while, we find ourselves back at the Border Star School here. I'm not sure exactly what they were talking about with this star, that it was supposed to be installed upside down. Looking at these schools just reminded me that I actually came across a pretty wild school over on the east side while I was out either doing some recon or coming back from an exploration, etc. But one of the issues with getting looks at a lot of these is where they are located. And a lot of them are in pretty rough areas. But I'm going to try my best to look at what I can. The only older photo that I could find is this tax assessment photo from 1940. And we're looking at the east side of the structure here. We checked out these portals and entryways on this side. This whole area where either this overgrowth of grass or garden is all completely paved. It's pretty much paved all the way around the building. But this area here this man is standing on, it looks like it might be paved. Can't really tell. Pretty flat. Looks like there's some kind of structure sitting right here. With some white siding, possibly. Wonder if that's the original school that they were referring to, or the second original school that the children helped build. I don't remember seeing anything else over here. We're going to wrap this up with another quick look at the Border Star mascot. Thought it was interesting. And I will leave you with a quote from this page here. By engaging a child's natural curiosity, they develop strong study habits and critical thinking skills. Once again, I appreciate everybody that stuck around till the end, and I will see you on the next one.